Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a most blessed day. It's time for your daily Bible verse, and tonight we're going to read Revelation chapter 2, verses 1 through 6. To the angel of the church in Ephesus write, These are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. I know that you cannot tolerate wicked men. That you have tested those who claim to be apostles but are not, and have found them false. You have persevered and have endured hardships for my name, and have not grown weary. Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken your first love. Remember the height from which you have fallen. Repent and do the things you did at first. If you do not repent, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place. But you have this in your favor. You hate the practices of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate. So, what we have going on here in Revelation chapter 2, 2 and 3 actually, there's only 2 churches that Jesus didn't rebuke, they all had something that they were doing wrong, some had much more going on than others, and what's happening here is Jesus is congratulating them for their hard work and their perseverance, he's saying, that he knows that they cannot tolerate wicked men, that, they're testing the spirits, those that claim to be apostles but are not, they have discernment, and that they found them false, and that they've persevered and endured hardships for his name, and have not grown weary, So he's congratulating them on that, but this is his main focus. He's saying, Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken your first love. Meaning they've forgotten who they're doing it all for. They've forgotten that they're doing it all for the Lord. They do it out of religiosity or because they feel they have to. He's saying, remember the height which you have fallen. Repent and do the things you did at first. We all can relate to this. When we first were saved, oh man, we were so on fire for the Lord. That's how we should always be, And a big problem is we tend to let ourselves run dry, I tell you one thing, I catch myself and I'm like, whoa, I need to light that fire up again, That's what everybody else says. And he's saying, if you do not repent, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place, He'll take it up away, It's a Jesus you don't want to hear about, but he's in the Bible. And he's saying that they have the favor